Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. And we continue to stream stories of leadership, entrepreneurship, and how entrepreneurs are dealing with this economy. Our next guest is John Penrose, CEO of AgileBrain. Welcome, John.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Great. Geez, when I was a kid, I thought I had an agile brain. They thought I had some kind of disorder.
Well,
What's your what's your agile brain business all about?
Sure. Things have changed a lot since you and I were kids. We used to go to school and study economics, and there was always a perfect answer, and it had to do with math. It generally said that humans were rational actors. They made decisions to maximize their value. It just turns out that was wrong. Humans are emotional beings with the capacity for rational thinking. But what we've discovered over the last 2 decades, really, in what's called the emotional revolution, is that emotions play a huge role in everything we do. So that's really our focus: is understanding human emotions and putting those to work for positive change for individuals, organizations, and society as a whole.
So I understand the analysis. In terms of your delivery of a service, what are you delivering and what are people purchasing?
Sure. So when you can measure human emotions, you've got a lot of applications, right? When you think about the market where emotions play, they play almost everywhere. I think perhaps with the exception of, a rocket scientist calculating the telemetry of a space capsule, or an engineer designing the stress levels on a bridge. Just about everything else has to do with has an emotional component, and so we've developed a framework that can locate emotions within a comprehensive landscape based on 125 years of psychology. And then we've developed a neuroscience-based way to measure those emotions. So the first place we applied that was in research. So we work with companies to conduct research studies, understanding issues where emotions come into play. So for instance, employee research and consumer behavior research. The second place we deployed that was on our platform. We need to get you on the platform. And that is for coaches, counselors, and consultants to use in the work with their clients. And so that's a subscription-based product. And they use it to understand the emotional state of individuals and groups of people, call it a team or an entire company. And finally, we've just rolled out in a really exciting space a set of student well-being solutions. It turns out, and I know you have kids, I have kids, we're never happier than our least happy kid. And it turns out that a lot of our kids are pretty unhappy. There is what the National Education Association declared a mental health crisis on campus. And so we've rolled out programs at the high school and the college level to help kids understand their emotional state and empower them to take ownership on that journey. And so we've got a number of different solutions. It's exciting stuff, and we're delighted to talk about it.
So is this a subscription tool, or how does the whole thing work? I'm still trying to drive into sort of the practicality of what it is.
Yeah, well, the answer is all of the above. We in a research study, we do fee-for-service studies. So one of our client would pay us a particular fee for that work. If they want to subscribe and get access to the tool themselves, it's a subscription-based platform. So there's an annual or monthly fee for access to the tool set. And then if we're embedding a program on a campus, then there's an annual license for access to the tools, and that license is tied to the size of the school.
And how and what's the outcome, the product that someone would receive, and how do they use it?
Sure. Well, a great example would be for someone to go to our public website, www.agilebrain.com, and there's a free sample exercise right there. It's completely anonymous, and you can get an experience of an AgileBrain exercise, a 3-minute image-based exercise, and it will give you a set of instant feedback, basically helping you understand your emotional state at this time for a particular focus area. Let's say when I think about the direction of my career, or when I think about my current situation or my diagnosis. And so it's really empowering individuals with feedback about their current emotional state. And then it gives them a set of personalized paragraphs of description for each of those emotional need areas that help them do two things. Number one, help them understand more clearly what is the underlying emotion that may be driving some presenting feeling. And the second is suggestions, ideas for starting to address that, take ownership of that emotional state and drive towards a better place. That's the practical application for the taker of an AgileBrain exercise, the consumer, so to speak. The school or the consultant who's using the tool gets a view into the student's mental health, emotional well-being, gets a view into the client's state, either for an individual or for a group of people, and then can help facilitate a process of identifying roadblocks to positive performance, and so drive better organizational performance, better team performance, better campus well-being. So that's kind of the two sides of it. It's the focus, the student, the employee, the person, and then the campus administrator, the corporate consultant, the coach or therapist on the other end.
So, John, I'm always interested in people's sort of career path to entrepreneurship. Can you give us somewhat of your background and what led you to this?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've probably done 5 or 6 startups over my career, but I didn't start there. When I got out of college, I went into the banking industry. I was a history major, and so I was desperately in need of practical skills. I went to work for Citibank, which at the time was, a large and global, still is a large and global organization with a great training program. So I learned a lot about balance sheets and income statements and lending and corporate finance. And I spoke some French, so they sent me off to work for 3 years in Central Africa and what was then called the Zaire, which was a magical experience for a young person. Met a great group of people, traveled extensively through Africa, and learned that there's a lot going on in the world outside of our off our shores, so to speak. So that was my background, and I came back and determined I wasn't really cut out to be a banker. It didn't stir my soul, so to speak. I went back to business school, met my wife. We moved to Boston, and I went to work, as many people in Boston do, for a consulting firm, Deloitte Consulting, wonderful organization, and worked for them for about 4 years when one of the partners there tapped me to go off on a startup. And I've never looked back. I've done 5 or 6 startups now, and And now at this stage, I can honestly say that I've never done anything more impactful and more meaningful in my life. We're operating at the level of human emotion. We have the ability to help make the world a better place. And it's a really exciting journey, this stage in my journey, particularly.
Well, that's all very interesting in a short interview. Definitely worth checking out. And if people do want to learn more about you, John, or Agile Brain, how do they find you?
Sure. Well, it's easy. I'm john.penrose at agilebrain.com, or you can go on to our website, AgileBrain, A-G-I-L-E, Brain, B-R-A-I-N.com, and take a free exercise and check us out. Get in contact. We'd love to work with you.
Great. Thank you for being on the show today, and remind all our listeners we have more stories to come on Radio Entrepreneurs.